You can't relate. What up, though? Listen, man, y'all better be out there doing something positive, you heard? Look, somebody had another question about this whole relapsing deal. Basically said, if you've been on semen retention for 90 days, he said 90 days specifically, so that's the number I'm going to use. If you've been on semen retention for 90 days, do you go back to having nothing if you release one time? So basically, if you relapse one time. The answer to that is hell no, man. Your body does not work like that, man. If you've been 30 days, 60, 90, 120, 150 plus, whatever, bro, you don't go back to having nothing just off of one release. Yes, you release some of your nutrients. Yes, you release some of your test level, some of your tests, but you don't go back to having no tests in your body or not. You got to think about it, man. Some of you guys been releasing for the past 10, 12, 15, some of you guys more years of your life. Your test levels still at everybody's different, but for the majority of people, your test levels are still in a healthy range, even when you're letting off every day. Now, of course, they can be higher. That's where you want them to be. When you're on semen retention, it keeps your test at a healthy level. So that's one of the benefits about being on semen retention. You're keeping your test at a healthy level, man. But you don't lose all everything that you just built up for all them 120 days or whatever. That glow, that don't go out the window off of one release, man. The main thing about when you relapse, man, you just don't want to get caught up in a rut to where you are going to continue relapsing, man, because when your body's going to crave that feeling after you relapse. That one release is going to feel like something you ain't never felt before. So it's easy to get caught up in that hole to where you are back releasing often, man, and then now you just going back downhill. So that's the bad thing about relapsing, but you don't lose everything off of one release, man. You, you got to think about it, man. Even when you are retaining your seed, your test levels are still fluctuating. Even for people, I don't care if you retain a year, your test levels are still fluctuating a little bit. Your test levels are never just like this for long periods of time. And that's due to the foods that you're putting in your body and how active you are. Working out alone raises your testosterone. Working out alone. You feel me? So if you working out and you putting the right foods in your body, your test level, that's bringing your test levels up right there. There's certain foods that they say lowers your test. So you can be putting foods in your body that's lowering you. That's what I'm saying. Your test levels are always fluctuating, man. Some of you guys are that are in the fitness community are putting stuff in your body that don't need to be in there. And that's really making your test levels fluctuate, even if you're on semen retention. So you guys got to think about that, man. And for the guys that are in the fitness community that are taking certain supplements, I told you before, if you can, just stay away from the supplements. They're trash. They're not good for your body. It's going to harm your body in the long run. But some of you guys that are taking that stuff, man, trying to get your test levels sky high, just remember that your estrogen works with your test, man. So if your test is like skyrocketing, some of that is turning into estrogen. A lot of people don't know that, man. So you gotta, for the people that's in the fitness community, I'm speaking to you specifically. You gotta watch that, man. But once again, man, when you relapse, the main thing, bro, you just want to get back on track. But you don't lose everything you just manifest off of one release, man. Don't work like that, man. Now, there's certain foods you can be putting in your body to come off a relapse to get yourself back where you was, and that's like what they say. They say, milk does. Not everybody drinks milk though. I think they say egg yolk raises your test. Some of the shellfish like oysters and stuff like that raises your test. There's some stuff out there, man. Y'all can just look it up. I can't remember everything offhand. There's a lot of stuff out there that you can eat to kind of bring it back up like fairly quick. I think they say beans. Yeah, beans does. Beef. If you don't eat meat, I ain't telling you to go get beef, but like I said, there's other stuff up there that you can bring your test levels back up with it and get the nutrients back in your body, the proteins and the carbs and all the other good stuff, the healthy fats, not the bad fats. So yeah, man, don't continue kicking yourself when you're down just because you relapse, man. The biggest thing, like, once again, I'm gonna repeat myself, when you relapse, you just want to make sure you find out why it happened. This way you won't find yourself back in a hole, relapsing and relapsing and relapsing and relapsing. You don't want to get back in that rut, man. Not if you're going to continue semen retention. You don't want to be. But just know, specifically, because a lot of men are wondering about this whole testosterone deal, man. Your levels are always fluctuating, man. You feel me? You got to think about it, man. There's a lot of people who sit here and let off on a daily basis or throughout the week. Let me just put it like that. I'm not gonna say daily basis, but people who let off throughout the week go get their test levels checked and it's still within the healthy range. And these people are letting off all the time. You understand? Now, I'm not telling nobody to go back to doing that. I'm just letting you know how the test works in your body, man. You don't go back to having the only way your test levels are gonna freaking just be where they're not supposed to be is if you're putting stuff in your body that don't belong. Once again, certain supplements. Okay, that's the only way, man. Other than that, you ain't got nothing to worry about with your test levels. Now, once again, everybody's different though. So some men, obviously, maybe you may naturally have a low test. Now, for the ones that naturally have low tests, number one, you should probably know that already, and you definitely need to watch what you put in your body. You need to be eating right. You need to be working out and stuff, man. You feel me? So, but even for the ones with low tests, if you relapse one time, you're not gonna be in bad shape, man. You're not gonna be in bad shape, bro. You feel me? The body's pretty good at staying, keeping your levels where they're supposed to be. Once again, unless you're putting shit in your body that don't belong. So that's the answer to that, man. Um, if you relapse, like I said, just bounce back, man. Um, there was something else I wanted to touch on. I just slipped my mind about the relapsing deal, but I'll save that for another video. Listen, man, you can't relate. Signing out. Peace.